All right, episode 39, social witnessing. And I have a bone to pick with
Why?
the premier, not the premier, the premier of BC. So, the
Okay.
premier of BC talking about how people are freaking out that they're sending kids back to school for like 3 weeks, for 2 days a week, and like risking spreading COVID all over the place for literally no reason whatsoever. He came out and said this, and I quote, "I want to assure teachers, I want to assure parents that we would not have opened up schools again in June if we did not believe it was safe to do so." What I want to know, if literally nobody in the entire scientific community, in world governments, and anywhere else is able to give you anything definitive right now, we just absolutely do not have enough data for any kind of assurances. He's assuring parents and teachers that they have nothing to worry about. We would not open up schools again in June. So either the BC government is like the top,
They're ahead of the curve
ahead
in
of
science.
everyone. They're just like hashtag science facts the max, or is just full of absolute shit. And if I'm a betting man, which I am, I'm going to take the latter.
So I got a letter. Well, you did too if you read your email, but we got a letter from the school, and it was to assure parents that children barely get COVID. And if they do, they barely have symptoms and they survive. And I was like, yeah, facts. The kids are going to be fine. We're not worried about the kids. We're not worried. Have you lived with a young kid that licks playground equipment? Like, these are just kids. Like, they just walk around with their hands in their mouths. They don't know how to social distance. Like,
Yeah, the point being they're going to infect their parents. It's not about the kids. Nobody's worried about the kids. We all know that the infection rate.
But even before, the things that we catch because of school, like I've had things that knock me out for a week. And sometimes I get lingering, weird symptoms. And I was on 3 course of antibiotics last summer. It is brutal.
Yeah, that's the point. Is it's not, nobody's worried about the kids.
Kids
are
fine.
Nobody, that's a stupid thing to say. Like, nobody cares. Like, we know the kids are fine.
It's not that nobody cares.
Well, no.
We know we don't care. Fine.
Yeah, we know they're fine.
Worried. We're not worried about
then
kids.
Later in the exact same press conference, he calls it, and I quote again, a dry run for September. Like, a dry run implies that you just want to see what's going to happen. And so, everybody, this was on Facebook, and, everybody in the comments, you have, hundreds of people freaking out, being like, what are you talking about? This is the most ridiculous statement ever.
I told you, though, that's what they're going to do. They're like, let's test this out on the parents. Yeah. Let's see if the parents live. One, they're going to sacrifice all the teachers.
I know, that's the worst
part. Because what's the
average
age of teachers right now?
85.
Well, no, I don't even think it's that. I think it's
That's exaggerated. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just hate when you do that. Just let me just go with it. Why always gotta point out when I don't get the joke? I get that I don't get the joke.
Why don't you get that I don't think teachers are 85 years old? That seems like a fairly...
Sometimes when we were kids, teachers would be 85 years old. But now I think people retire when they're supposed to retire and go live their lives. But yeah, they're going to sacrifice. It's the teachers. And what about the teachers that have health issues and things like that? I guess they're in a union. Maybe they don't have to go to work. Maybe they're going to get lucky and they don't have to go to work. But really?
But it's what Michael Osterholm has been talking about, where he said he's telling governments, just tell the truth. Stop saying this is going to happen or this isn't going to happen. Say, we don't know. This is what we think right now. These are the likeliest scenarios. But the premier comes out and says we wouldn't open if we weren't sure. Wait, I just want to quote it to make sure I got the quote. We would not have opened up schools if we did not believe it was safe to do so.
What do you think the average age of parents is right now?
It depends by school. Our school, probably
40 to 50?
Yeah.
Yeah, the parents are probably between 40 and 50.
Which is the beginning of where it starts to get slightly higher.
Yeah.
It's still low. But, low is, just a number. And the individual basis, it's still a risk.
Yeah,
And for what? For, 2 days a week? What are we talking about here?
I know.
Just for 3 weeks, 2 days a week, we're just going to run it and just see what happens. It's
and then
ridiculous.
The worst part of it is that okay, so we can keep our son home. You can stay home. And I'm sure there'll be some essential workers that have to send their kids back to school. But then there's this whole other like population of people that now that it's available 2 days a week, they're going to have to send their kids. And that's probably a more vulnerable population that already probably has mistrust of the government and the school and are marginalized. And now they get to go and be the test subjects of this dry run.
I'm interested to see like what the numbers are like how many parents. And then there is going to be some, we try not to judge everybody, and everybody's talking now about like don't judge others, but there's going to be a lot of judgment.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of judgment. I mean, you know what? It'd be one thing if you're like, hey, I'm going to send my kid to school because no one else is going to be there. So they can go hang out with their teacher for a couple hours, like especially if you're already out anyway and working, maybe it's not a big deal. But yeah, if there's a lot of kids going back, but apparently they're going to alternate. You can only go 2 days a week. They're going to alternate, but
like it's just like impossible. They're and why send the youngest kids? Why not
because those ones are most likely to survive, and hopefully their parents are younger and most likely to survive.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're gonna test run it, then do it on kids who can at least have the like capacity to social distance, not touch their face constantly. Like doing it with kindergarten kids is just like the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Phase 2 herd immunity.
Yeah.
Building up. Because, it's the same. Like, why wouldn't you send high school kids back? The ones that actually know how to,
grades like 5, 6, 7 instead of K through 5. It makes no sense.
There's a higher risk that they would die. That's why.
Yeah.
And then their parents are even older.
I think, anyways, we'll see how that goes. So, like, people you could like feel the fatigue, the like COVID fatigue starting to happen. I think that's going to make people take risks. Like if the first few weeks are okay, not just school, but just in general with how all the provinces are opening and stuff, people are going to start taking some risks because they're just like tired of it. And they're like, hey, look, it's been like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's fine. And I was reading some more Michael Osterholm, who's the expert on infectious diseases that we've talked about a lot. And he was saying, like we still might just be in the second inning of a 9-inning game for the baseball fans, basically meaning, we're only still just getting started. And he's like, and we don't know. So like maybe we're on our way to like the 3rd to 6th inning, but we might only be into like coming into the 3rd. For those who don't watch sports,
that's like no.
He's saying like maybe we're like if we all go back and everything and like the phase 2 starts to come out and it's fine, then maybe we're maybe like deeper into this process than we think. Maybe we're like 60% into the process and we're like gonna wind down and kind of get to the end of this whole COVID situation sooner than we think. But it's just as likely, potentially more so, according to him, just based on how diseases work, infectious diseases and past pandemics, that we're only like 15 to 20%. And if we need 60% herd immunity, we're still only at like the most, like New York is only at like a max maybe of 20% infection rate. And if the numbers that they're putting out that we need 60% to be herd immune, then we're like not close. Like what he keeps saying is, think of all the damage that's been done for just like 15 to 20% infection rate. And now imagine that tripled or quadrupled. Like where are we going to be then? And so his thing is like, he says, I'm not trying to scare the wits out of people. I'm trying to scare the wits into people and make them kind of understand where we are. And his whole thing is like, we need a better plan. Like the government is opening, but they don't really have a plan. Like what if infection rates jump up? Are we all closing it down? And then for how long? And like, he says, the big problem is not that we're opening it up. It's that we're opening it up without a real strategy of how this is going to go, what are the different situations that could come about, and how we're going to deal with each one of those. It's more like, let's just open up and see, and then what?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I can see the other side of it because I'm definitely experiencing some COVID fatigue. We just had a heated discussion about this the other day and how, like, once I'm out of downtown, I'm ready to be out. Like, I think the only thing stopping me now is the amount of people and...
Well, there's nothing wrong with being out if you're not, like, in direct contact with people.
Yeah.
Being out is better. And there's just actually a study that I was reading today that, like, the odds of... Most of the infections are coming from small places with bad circulation, airflow. And so, yeah, your infection likelihood is way, 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 way down when you're out. It's not zero, but it's way down.
Yeah.
But it's just like, how close are you? How many people are there?
Yeah, but like I'm there's a part of me that's just ready. Like I want to go back to dance in person.
That's like the worst.
The worst. It's
because
the
when
worst.
they say like even they did another study again today that like even they did research with loud speaking. So like they had people talk for 1 minute and like different decibels levels. And they said even loud speaking like raises the amount of aerosols by like 10 to 15x.
God, if I ever get COVID, I'm going to be a super spreader. Like me and Parker
Oh,
are
you're
both
for sure
like,
a super spreader.
like the loudest talkers ever. I'll just be walking around like yelling at people, so happy to see them. Like I don't think I can do like regular tone when I see someone I'm excited.
But if just loud talking is 10xing the amount that you're putting out there, then just like what are we even doing? Like that's just way too early. It's still way too early. That's the thing. Like we have fatigue, and you're definitely someone that I think about when you're like, oh man, she's gonna start taking silly risks because she's just like tired of it.
The other day I went. Oh, somebody just threw something over the balcony. Sorry, distracting. The other day I went to. So we're still in our apartment. I went to the laundry room. I went to leave, and I got all the way to the elevator, and I was like, oh, I feel so good. I'm like, I have no mask on. And then it's only because I have a cough that I'm like, I should be wearing my mask. Like, I'm sure I don't have COVID, not that I've been tested. I've had this cough forever, but it's probably pretty unnerving for people to be in an area with me, even if it's distance, where I'm like, like those poor guys yesterday trying to take pictures outside, and I'm like hacking away across the way. They're probably like trying to be so serious, and we're just like...
Oh, when we were in the courtyard.
Yeah, when we were in the courtyard.
Yeah, speaking of not having COVID or testing, so we posted this on Instagram yesterday, and we haven't verified this. We're just sharers of information out there. We're not scientists. We're not out there researching all these claims.
I'm pretty close to a scientist.
So someone named Jonathan Rothberg, who has gotten a medal of some science thing from Obama. For what was it? DNA sequencing. Yeah, he got an award from Obama, so he's not nobody. He on February 29th, he posted on Twitter, "This is the last pandemic we should need labs to do tests. I'm going to put universal diagnostic machine by your toothbrush. It's time to empower people." And then yesterday or the day before, he posted, "Today I kept a promise to myself. My team made the first designed for home use universal diagnostic machine. Today I tested myself for SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19. Over the coming weeks, we will work to get them to you. It will cost less than my toothbrush." And then there's an image of his toothbrush next to what I assume is this testing device.
Looks very similar to that Oral-B one you can buy at Costco. You can get them 2 for $80 in a 2-pack sometimes, or 1 for $80 at Shoppers
so it'll be less than $100. And he says it's done. He says they did it and it was easy. And I think he said it was 15 minutes, but they're going to reduce it even more by the time it hits the market. So basically like instantaneous testing of whether you have it, which is interesting because I wonder what the false positive rate on that, because in like the tests they're doing for like the government and hospitals and CDC, like the false positive rate is still super high. So I wonder if his is better. But it's cool. I mean, like, it's awesome that people are working on that, and it makes you hopeful. And I hope it's legit, and he seems legit, but I hope it works.
It just needs to come in a 2-pack, because I don't know how many people out there have used a pregnancy test, but I always buy the 2-pack. Not always, okay? I don't test myself, but back in the day when I was trying to get pregnant, I'd buy a 2-pack, because that one, like, if you get a positive, you're like, ooh, better back it up with another one to make sure. Or like, even if you really want to be pregnant, you're like, oh, it's negative, but maybe if I do one tomorrow, it'll say positive. So you just want those 2. You want that backup. As long as it comes in a 2-pack.
Yeah, but I think that regardless of how many come in a pack, I don't think it's like a Costco deal, but at least the fact that we're going to have something at home that you don't have to wait for these tests. And if you're sick, I know for like anxiety sufferers, I mean, how amazing would that be to be able to just be like, oh, nope, don't have it.
Unless
I'd be testing myself like 3 times a day. Like, you haven't been out in a week. How could you still be testing?
There's no way you would take the test And then an hour later, you'd be like, I didn't do it right. I missed this.
I know, but you could do like, well, I don't know what it's like.
Like,
I assume
depends
you
on
can
the
do it a
club.
bunch of times, but yeah, you could do it like 10 times, and like if all 10, then you got to feel pretty safe.
I don't know, like, what are these protein swabs? I don't know. Usually,
Yeah,
like, these tests, you use one, you use it once, and then that's it.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. I think he talked about it, but I don't remember exactly. It was a swab of some kind, but I think you just swab your throat yourself and then put it in this solution or something. I don't know.
Maybe I could inside my throat properly.
Yeah, but then you could do it again because it's at home. I don't think it's like a single use thing. I think it's like so you could have it long term.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not. I don't like. It's like a.
Huh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, but for sure, but I assume so.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's a thing. That's a positive thing in the world. Unlike our premier saying stupid, ridiculous things. Here's another. I don't know if this is good or bad or it's funny. Well, I don't know. Funny is even the thing either. But the BC Parks registration website opened today at 7 a.m. Immediately crashed.
Why so many people trying to book
So many people. Birthday
Campsite.
parties.
Campsites.
Yeah. Who's going out to the woods to have birthday parties? Yeah. They crashed like minutes after opening for summer bookings and then were like basically booked out within minutes for who, enough people got through that booked it out and then it crashed. And like if you, CBC reported this on Facebook and if you go in the comments, it was like, the rage was like, you would have thought like World War III, like something, just, it was nuts. It was just like absolute rage. And I was like, wow, there's a lot of people trying to book campsites right now, like intensely trying to book campsites, like not multiple, but like dozens and dozens of people saying, I sat there for 2 hours doing this. And I was like, what? I'd give it like 4 minutes. And if it's not working, I'd be like, all right, whatever.
No way. That could be your whole trip. Like, that's what some people do.
I guess.
Like, imagine us, like, I know, like, we gave up on the camping dream early this year, but imagine, like, Kettle River. Wait, you didn't turn your sound off?
Is that me? Okay, anyways, yeah, keep going.
Yeah, imagine, like, we usually go to Kettle River, and, like, that's distance. If you were with people that were safe, you could be there, and you wouldn't be around other people.
No, but it's not that. So, like, people are saying in the comments and stuff, but it's not about the camping part. It's the part that there's public washrooms, that most people go and get food, like, at, like, convenience stores or whatever around there.
Oh, yeah.
It's not clearly true. When you're at your campsite, it's separate, but it's like, and then going down to like the river or whatever.
No, but at the river we could really stay away from people too. But you're
but
right about the
don't.
bathrooms. You're right about the public. Like that's what we
That
love
was my
about
comment. That was my comment. Was there's
the
literally
showers.
never been a time where I've wanted to use a public bathroom less. I'm already like so grossed out by public bathrooms, and imagining now like trying to use an outhouse, it's just like no.
No.
I'll stay home, thanks.
Oh, you're right. But I guess if you're an RVer,
Yeah.
like if you're an RVer, you're set. Like,
Yeah.
you don't have to be around
yeah.
people. That's what we wanted to do.
We should do and just like hide out, go into the woods.
We go to another great glamping site too that I would love to go back to. It's so nice, but you're just too close to people.
Yeah.
Like that one's the worst. Like those washrooms are packed.
Mm-hmm.
Packed. It's a busy place. Everywhere's busy there. So many people riding bikes, swimming, boating. It's fun, but it's busy.
Yeah. But the anger, the rage that I saw in the comments just kind of made me laugh. But I guess, and like, I get it because like someone in the comments like, no, just stay in your backyard. And people are like, we don't have backyards.
Yeah.
It's Vancouver. And like, we're here too. Like if we weren't moving, we'd be stuck inside. Who knows how long.
But even so, like that's a big trip for us usually. Like that's when we see our family. Like even my mom was upset because she's in Alberta. She can't book a campsite.
Yeah, they said like the highest they've had BC as far as the booking has been like 1,000 bookings in a day, and this had like 850 in the first like 5 minutes.
Yeah, but people book a year in advance.
Yeah.
Like we
but
reserve a year.
Waiting. They were like they knew it was coming. They were waiting at like 7 a.m. Like it's crazy. I didn't realize.
I think this year you'll just see more people camping and like just finding a place to squat and camp and get out there.
Yeah.
It really is like to get out of the city. Like I know a lot of us I love living in the city, but that break in the summer like energizes you and you can come back to the city. Otherwise it starts to really have a toll on you and you get, Yeah, yes, it's beautiful, but it's not the same. Like, just getting that break from the noise.
Mm-hmm.
Like, your ears getting that break. Like, even here the other day, you remember when we first moved here and you kept telling me, like, do you hear that? Do you hear that? And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, that's something that runs out there. It's like air or like water or something. Yeah. And the other day it turned on and I was like, oh, thank goodness, I'm never going to have to hear this thing again. Yeah. It goes on like 4 times a day. And then like across the street, there's a parquet blowing air out. And like, there's just this constant hum of electricity and airflow and noise.
Which I have noticed through COVID. That's like something that's like cool, but also kind of creepy. Is
like you hear it more now?
At night it's so quiet.
Yeah, because there's no people.
Because there's no clubs.
Cars
and we live near Davie Street. So it's like busy. You could always hear sounds.
There's way less drunk people walking around at night.
It was like this past Saturday, because usually it's like during the week and I'm like, I don't know, I guess it's quieter. But this Saturday night at like, I don't know, 11 or something, I went out on the balcony and I was like, oh my God, it's like when you are camping, it's like so quiet, which is creepy. And like the lights like across the street, they're usually the whole building is lit up. Mm-hmm. And I was like all dark. People are probably just going to bed, like, let's get this day over with, move on to the next one.
Yeah. I mean, it's still, the buildings make a lot of noise. They do. They just do. Mm-hmm. Like, they're just the electricity and sound. So, yeah, that's what I like about camping. You get out there and all of a sudden it's like, no noise or just the crackle of a fire. And like animal sounds.
I think at our new place, like if we went out at night, night, I think it would be so quiet.
Yeah, I think it would be quiet too.
Because like our street doesn't go anywhere. Like we're at the end of the street. So, yeah. So that would be nice. What else?
What else? I really struggle with the now. I try to live in the now, but I'm a future thinker. I always worry about the future, think about the future, plan for the future. More I plan to the minute detail about the future. I obsess about work in my mind. I have 4 big things I need to get done tonight. I need to fix something with my computer, all these things on repeat. And all I'm doing right now is trying to get through the day. I just want moving to be over. Mm-hmm. And it's just a real struggle. I feel like this is that time where I should be exercising my mind and trying to live in the now. But at the same time, I'm trying to give myself a break because I'm packing. Having the willpower to pack and stay on task is so hard that I'm I don't want to give myself any extra work. Mm-hmm. But I think this is one of those times where it's this, if you can stay in the now, if you can stay present and grounded now, this is where you're putting in some good work that will help you later. But yeah, I'm really struggling with it. I'm staying positive, but at the same time, every day I'm end of the work day, I'm one more day down, out of here. I just got to get this done.
Well, we just have a week now, so.
Just over a week.
Yeah. Well, a week because Monday's over, so we move Tuesday morning. So it's a week, officially a week.
It's officially a week, but yeah, it's a struggle. I just want to get out of here. This space was already small, but now that I have 30 plus boxes in here, it's really small now. It's slowly the walls are closing in. And I'm just taking all my willpower not to start breaking down furniture and throwing it out just to make space.
Yeah.
But yeah.
In non-COVID or moving news, Kurt Cobain's guitar, I think it's the one from the
MTV Live?
Unplugged.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's that one, but I think it was. Mm-hmm. It's going up for auction on June 18th.
Who owns it?
I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's going through an auction house, but I don't know if they own it themselves or if they're just renting it for somebody. I assume renting it for somebody. And they said they expect. Oh, by the way, it's June 18th, and my birthday just passed. So if anybody out there has they said they're expecting it to fetch $1 million, which I thought is super low.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I feel like that's low. I feel like it's going to double that at least, or at least 1.5. So if anybody has 1.5 and is just where do I put this? Buy me Kurt Cobain's guitar.
It's a great investment.
It probably is. I mean, I don't think they're losing. I don't think Nirvana's losing popularity. They're intergenerational.
Yeah, I know. Parker really likes them.
He does like them. It's a good. That's why they got famous, because it's just a good sound. Just.
Especially once you hit your angst phase, then it's a really
he's already in his teenage angst phase. So June 18th. Let's do make your prediction for how much it's going to sell for.
1.2 million.
I'm going to go
I'm
on.
actually surprised. Actually, no, I thought it would be less, but now that you're telling me that they're predicting 1 million.
Well, but they could be trying to drum it up, right?
Oh,
Just
okay.
go with
I'll
your
go
real.
with, okay, I was like 800,000.
Okay. I'm gonna go high.
I know nothing about guitars though, so that was just very arbitrary.
I could do well. It doesn't matter. It's not an $800,000 guitar. It doesn't. It doesn't matter what guitar it is.
No, I mean like collectibles.
Oh yeah.
Like what's the brand?
I could. No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't matter what brand it is. It's Kurt Cobain's guitar. It could be like a dollar store guitar, and it would still fetch as much. I mean, I guess like to give that thought some credit. Like I guess if you're a musician who's looking to buy it, then you're like, well, it's Kurt Cobain's guitar, and I could play it.
Yeah.
If you're not just a collector, but I could say like 900,000 and just win this bet, but jeopardy it. But I think it's going to be high. I think I'm going to go for like 2.2 million.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
I guess there's a lot of people in the world with a lot of money, so.
But yeah, the deciding factor would be if it's the unplugged. Because if it's, I think it is. I think that's why it's a big deal. Because I don't think any of his other guitars, like I'm sure there's lots of other Kurt Cobain guitars. I think it's probably because
Didn't he smash so many? Like I don't know.
It's probably the guitar. But I'm gonna go high, 2.2.
Okay, well, I'm
find
interested.
out on June 18th.
I mean, I would have liked to have done some research before placing that guess and see, like, historically, what do guitars owned
Way
by
too
other
much
people?
work.
Like, I'm an accountant at heart. Like, let's get some data on this before we make a choice. Let's run a few scenarios.
Let's run a computer model and the simulations on historic data points.
Hey, don't mock.
Okay, so 800 versus 2.2 million.
That's a big range. Remember when that guy here left his guitars in his car and they got stolen out of the parkade? That was crazy.
Remember Shannon Hoon peed on like Vancouverites?
No.
What?
No. I didn't actually like Blind Melon as much as you did.
Yeah, I mean, that's clear. Because
Yeah.
I was like obsessed with them. It would be pretty hard
Like,
for you.
I don't even know that I knew his name was Shannon Hoon when we met.
No, yeah.
Now I know. I know
I was
all her
surprised when you said it.
discography.
I was like, is she going to have the right band here?
Come on, I knew who they were.
Yeah.
I knew their like hit songs, but like when we listened to now I
The
can
hit
recognize.
song.
Yeah.
The hit song.
No, there's like three. There's three that I knew. I'm not gonna name them.
I was
okay?
going to say,
Like,
I'm not going to put you on the spot because I don't
put me on the
believe
spot,
that's true.
And I also don't want to sing.
No rain.
I did.
No rain. That's all there was. As far as like public, so no, it was no rain.
No, because I'd listened to the CD.
Okay.
CD. I'm dating myself here. I had listened to the CD, so I knew like 3 songs.
Okay.
But
But
like, there's no Spotify back then.
what?
I
And
couldn't
you still
just listen to one
still
song.
didn't know that he came to Vancouver and peed on audience members.
No, I didn't live here at that time. I was still in the prairies.
Oh. Anyways, yeah, he had a show here and was probably high off his ass on heroin, and just like peed on people while he was on stage.
I mean, even like Kurt Cobain died when I was in
Grade 7.
elementary.
Grade 7, because you know how I know this is like one of the great moments of my life, and I wasn't even a fan then. I feel like that's probably what turned me into a fan. I was in grade 7. There was a bunch of kids in my class who were fans, who were cooler than me. It was like Phil and Jordan and Ruben, and we had like this rolling current events in our class. So every day 2 people got to do current events and like tell some news. And when he died, I had current events the next day, and people were like so jealous. And they're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you get to talk about Kurt Cobain." And I like had no idea who he was. So I was like still like semi-immigrant. Like I just come from Montreal. Yeah, I guess it was a couple of years by then, or a year and a half by then. But yeah, I definitely had no idea who Nirvana was, and I had to like go and research it just because I knew that everybody else wanted to do it and that they were all jealous.
I too hung out with a girl who was way more angsty than me and way cooler than me. I was pretty vanilla, especially having a mom like Sherry is pretty vanilla. Kept on a nice straight path. didn't know who Nirvana was. And then one day I went over to her house and she was trying to teach me how to play the bass for one of their songs. And that's how I found out who they were. And I thought it was so cool that not only did she have her own room and was allowed to have her own room in the basement by herself, away from her family, she also had a guitar, and she was allowed to dye her hair like bleach blonde. I wasn't like allowed to shave my legs. Like, it was amazing. And that's how I found Nirvana. I thought she was so cool and it was so awesome. And then literally I found them and he died. And she had tickets. She had been to their concert. She had tickets framed. I remember it was such a big deal. And she cried so much. And I was like, are we crying together? What are we upset about?
I had tickets to a Blind Melon Our Lady Peace show at the Commodore when he died.
Oh, really?
I mean, Phil, yeah. And then they replaced him with Tripping Daisy.
Oh, really?
I got a girl. That was the
Yeah.
first song I ever body surfed to. So I got a girl.
Oh. Isn't that
at
so
the
sad,
time-
too, that he dies and the show just goes on?
Yeah.
They just replace him.
Yeah. At the time, it was like not a fair trade, but it was a close trade. But now looking back, I'm like, that is not a good replacement. that band that had that, well, they had 2 songs, I think. But yeah, that band that flamed out in like a year for Blind Melon. So yeah, we were like, I don't know what it was, weeks or a couple months away from seeing them live.
Yeah. Hey, I have a question for you that I've never asked you before, and just in talking about this, I just realized I don't know. Did you have an accent at one time?
I'm sure I did.
Like how, like at what point did you start speaking English? Like what was the turning point for you when you're like, oh, I speak English now?
We moved from Israel to Montreal in grade 2, and I went to a school, like all schools in Montreal, we had to speak English and French, and I spoke neither. And so I think you've definitely heard this story. Like I sat in class.
No, I know the Montreal side. I mean the Vancouver side. I remember you
Well, I
came to
already
Emily.
spoke English, but I lived in Montreal for 3 years.
So you spoke English when you came here.
Yeah, I came here in
And you
grade
didn't
5.
have an accent? How do you not have? I guess because you were a kid.
Yeah. But yeah, I like showed up to a new school in a new country with snow for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And like just for months would just sit in all my classes, like just not speaking a word. Fortunately, it was a parents put me in a Hebrew school, a partial Hebrew school. And so there was like an hour of the day or like 2 hours of the day where I could like, I knew
You're excelling.
I was excelling ahead of everyone. But the rest of the time it was like 0. Like I had no interaction. My like biggest memory from that time is like in my first, I don't know, week or something, there was a dictée, which for non-French, I don't know what the English equivalent even is. But yeah, the teacher like reads something and you just write it, right?
Yeah.
Like she tells you sentences, she reads out sentences and you write them. It was in French because everybody's like French is still weak, even though it's Quebec. There's still like most kids spoke English in the school. And I remember like sitting there, I didn't even know what was going on. I just saw everybody like taking out paper and she's saying something and they're writing and I'm just sitting there with a blank piece of paper. I was 7, 8 years old. And then all of a sudden everybody gets up and lines up at her desk. So I get up and I don't even know, because you're just a kid, I guess you don't know, but I like lined up with my blank piece of paper and I got to her desk and I just like handed her a blank paper. And I don't know if this is real or just like my projecting my anxiety, the situation, all that. But I remember it as she rolled her eye, like looked at it, rolled her eyes, and just handed it back. But she definitely didn't say something or like try and be like, "Hey, it's okay." Like at best, it was just like, just handed back, like, "Oh yeah, he doesn't know." But in my memory, there was like a look that came with it, and I just like.
I don't know. I believe you. I've lived in Montreal, and not to poo-poo people in Montreal, but as an Anglophone living in Montreal, I'll tell you, when your French is crap, it doesn't go over well. I think I had I had dreams of what living in Montreal was going to be like, and I went over very poorly, and I came back.
They do not like Anglophones.
They do not.
We've been in like restaurants where they like purposely give you bad service, so you leave, and then at the end you think you're making the stand, like we're walking out. They're like, okay, see ya.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, oh, they were trying to make that happen. I didn't realize.
I was working in a nightclub, and my French was really bad, and I had some guy throw a tip jar at me. because my check, which is $1 for the one coat, didn't go over well. And he was like upset that I didn't speak proper French. And he wasn't even from Quebec. That was the worst part. Like, he clearly was not born there. He was with a group of people that aren't from there either. I'm like, we're all not from here. Like, why don't we give each other a break? My French is horrible.
The worst or best, I don't know, the funniest part of it all is that Quebecois, the French Quebecois, not everyone, obviously there's, both sides
Your
of
friends
everywhere.
were all lovely.
Yeah.
Your friends were awesome.
But like the hardcore Francophones, who are like the ones who judge the Anglophones, like they judge Anglophones so bad, and then when you speak to people from France, they think like Montreal French or Quebec French people are like a joke. They think like Quebecois, the language
French.
is bastardized. They think like if the Quebecois went to France, they would get discriminated the same way they discriminate against Anglophones. And so when I learned that, I was like, you jerks. Like, you're not even, like, they don't even think you're French. Like, and they do. They speak like, you learn all the lingo. They speak like half English, half French. Yeah. And it's like, how can you be judgy?
What do you mean hockey's locké?
Okay.
It's literally hockey. You just pronounce it different. It's hockey.
Yeah, there's a lot of those.
Yeah. And there's a lot of those in Hebrew, though, as well. Because I remember, like, when we were in Israel, someone was reading something. I'm like, wow, how can you read that? And he's like, oh, no, it's literally just the English word in Hebrew. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I better work on my Hebrew. But... yeah, so then you come to Vancouver and what, you don't have an accent? You're fine? No, I feel like so. You came to Vancouver and you talked about, like, kids at Emily Carr not playing with you because your English wasn't good enough.
No, it had nothing to do with English. There was, like, I don't know.
Oh, male hierarchy.
Yeah, I think there's, like, a hierarchy thing. Yeah. And, like, my parents were, were, like, grinding it out and didn't have a lot of money. And so everything we bought was not brand name and anything, and like my shoes were I didn't have style because, like, I don't know, I guess you're young and it wasn't a thing, but so I had like Velcro shoes from like Zellers or whatever, and so like kids made fun of that. Just like standard stuff that just the hierarchy, like you said. But no, I don't think I ever had an accent. I like excelled at school always, so like it was rough for the first little bit learning the language, but then
it's just strange to me, like, you and your sisters, like, none of you have accents.
Oh, especially my sisters, they were so young.
But your parents both do. And I know people that are born here, and because their parents have accents, they speak with an accent.
What you say, I sometimes speak with an accent when I'm speaking to my parents.
Yeah,
I don't
do.
Hear it.
Yeah, like I can hear it when you talk to your parents, you change the way you speak.
Yeah.
And then when we leave you, just speak the way you normally do.
Anyways, nobody cares about my accent. Last thing, I guess, before we go, we now have a YouTube channel. I should have said this at the beginning because it's probably lost like 8 of the 10 people who are going to listen to this by now. But if you're still listening, we have a YouTube. There's no video. It's just the audio over like a screen with a title and whatever. But if you, for whatever reason, prefer to watch/listen on YouTube, it's there. Same name, Social Witnessing. So if you prefer that over Spotify, you got the option now. And maybe one day soon, especially in our new house where we have some cool spots, maybe there will be some video.
Yeah, working towards video. Although I need to get like better. I don't know. I'm so bad at talking on the phone when no one can see me. I always like lean close.
Yeah.
Lean close. I gotta like sit up straight if I'm on video.
Well, we do it like right after Parker goes to bed. It's like I don't know. You have to be super comfortable just not caring at all what you look like.
Yeah.
Like, we're not going to get made up.
No.
To like, maybe we could do like one video a week on like the weekend.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's so hot in here. I'm not really even wearing a lot of clothes. Right, so I'm going to start covering up to be on some video.
Well, it depends how many views you want. The other way.
Yeah, we could attract a whole new audience.
Anyways, so that's their Social Witnessing. Same with Facebook. Same with Instagram. Social Witnessing Podcast on Instagram. And that's it. We have like guests lined up. We haven't been doing as many guests lately, but we have guests lined up for, I think, what day is tomorrow? Tuesday?
Tuesday. I feel like you booked someone every day this week, which I thought we weren't gonna do.
Well, we're going out with a bang at the end of season 1 before we move and take like a few days off at least. So we're gonna have guests, some interesting people.
Yeah.
Really interesting people actually. Tomorrow is a comedian, author, addiction writer, author.
Amy? Is it Amy Dresner?
Dresner, yeah. I mean, I think that's how it's pronounced, yeah. And then the day after that, we have the
Jeff?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we might really have like 4 or 5 guests in a row. Then Jeff is a cartoonist who's amazing. And Farheen, who suffered from COVID, is a COVID survivor, married to an MD, has her own podcast. And then trying to line up, not survivalist, what's the word that I used earlier?
Oh, right. Self-sufficient food. This
Just
one
an
I'm really
expert,
excited.
like a self-sufficiency expert who like does, he's fully self-sustained or very close to it, I think.
Sherry, I think you'll like this one.
Yeah, we haven't booked that one yet, but I told him Friday or Saturday we're free. So he's been doing it for 2 years and now teaches people. I think he said like he grows stuff, he raises animals, all that sort of stuff. And so that'll be a really cool one.
My mom bought a dehydrator and she's doing this big project of all these different foods that you either can eat or you just add water to, and so you can have food all year round, like even in the winter, because in Canada we can't really grow during the winter. Like there's not really, even if you had a greenhouse, it'd be pretty hard. Take a lot of electricity. So
yeah,
I'm excited for that one.
So that's this week. So if you're tired of listening to us, then tune in starting tomorrow.
Tired of listening to us?
Tune in starting tomorrow for some guest-a-palooza, and probably a little less COVID talk, which is never a bad, well, at least for a couple of days, the first couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, this is the end of the season 1. And when we come back, we'll be somewhere new.
Going out with a bang. So tune in and bless up.
What? Oh my goodness, you're being affected by dance hall.
What?
Yeah, that's a Jamaican saying.
No, it's like...
It is.
Well, I don't know if it originated, but it's definitely not where I got it from. It's like...
Okay, well...
It's a teasing of just social media.
Oh, okay, well, thanks, social media. Another thing you've ripped off from Jamaican.
Bless up, everybody. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow.
Bye.